When you think of scaling, you think about hiring more people, doing more marketing, doing more sales. Well, our clients did none of that, and he scaled to 300K in 2 months. And this is a topic that no one talks about in business, which is actually the most important part. Now, what is it? Guess it is. It's time. Anybody thinking, how can time be the equation of all this? Well, most people don't think about their employees, their cost of employees. They don't think about how much your employees taking away from your business or adding in. Now, before I go into this more, this is a stat that I pulled from Claude, and this is basically marketing agencies and people who have online business in general and how much time it took. Now, if you have your info businesses, it could be less, but this is the general spectrum for people that have scaled past 6 figures. Now, each employee, that's just for a single person. A single person wastes almost 49%, 4 hours of their 8 hour workday on just random stuff, random bullshit. Now, the reason why this happened is, which I'm going to get into, is of systems. But before we get into that, you have to really understand the depth of it and the compounding effect it takes. Now, this is of a single person. The more people you have, you times it by 3, you have 12 hours wasted in a day by each employee. And this happens through all sorts of crazy, dumb stuff that people do. Usually, it's literally just a donkey work that most people are doing, which is they check their email, then they check their Slack, then check their this, then check that. Boom, boom, boom. What happens? Half of the day is gone. They check, they don't really talk to leads, they're not really working, and they just have to do this. Now, what did my client do to fix this dire issue? What he did, first of all, you have to really understand is that the hours of productivity is the most important. How much is your employee or even yourself is actually contributing to the business? Well, what he did was just change the structure. Rather than paying a person just their salary, he reduced the salary and started giving bonuses and a percentage on top of that. What he did with that was that whenever they got more results, they got paid more, but that incentivized them to work harder and productive rather than being like, oh,
I get paid 3K, I'm going to get paid 3K. Doesn't matter how much work I put in, I'm going to put in normal work.
now if it's like, okay, you're going to get paid 2K, but you can get an extra 3K on top of that if you do X, Y, and Z results, that makes a lot more sense. And that is the biggest key lesson that he did, was the fact that he changed the people's structure of payments to a more results based than just a base normal salary. Now, this goes into much, much deeper, because if you look into this, right, you have all these issues in your business, not because the person is bad or they don't want to work or you hired some of them for a reason, right? It's because you lack a lot of systems. They are managing and just going here and there. They don't really understand what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. They're just getting their job done, or they're just getting their work done. What does this lead to? This lead to your employees or a new employee coming in. Just the most important factor is that you really have to ask yourself, if I have a new employee coming, how much time it would take them to get trained up and actually just work on the business? If it's too long, something has to change. SOPs and SOPs have to be something that people actually read. No one actually reads the SOP, and this is such a massive issue. Please make good SOPs that people actually want to read. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if you have SOPs, if you have anything, it's sort of where an employee has to learn when it goes into systems. Those should be pretty easy to replace an employee fit, literally. Now, of course, you're not going to go into your employee and be like,
Hey, create a system that I can replace you easily.
of course, you're not going to do that. Don't do that. Of course, they will probably just leave. That's why AI works so better. Because what AI does is not because it's, able to just, it's so much better. It's just that people are so shit at what they do with their work. They're not really thinking in terms of, okay, how can I do this faster? How can I do this better? That the AI is just so much better. But you have to think of this in every single department of your business. You have to really sit down and ask yourself, how much time does each process take? And if there is systems, how can we automate most of it? That if a new employee comes in, they can easily just come in and work inside of a business. It should take a 1 week training max to just get inside of the business and start working. Because the bottom line is that you have 10 employees, for let's give an example, but you're paying for almost half of them. This is not a staffing problem. This is a systems problem, and systems can be fixed. And that's what my client did. He looked into his DM setters. He looked into his entire business. He was like, okay, what process can I do and help them out? Now, what he did, which most people don't do, is that he was like, you know what, rather than sitting there being the guy who just, like tells people to do stuff and just make content, he actually sat down with the team, role played, trained them more so they became better at sales. So what happened is that, let's say there's a 3K lead, because that was the average order value, come in, the sales guy gets stuck. He's stuck in a conversation. Now, what can he do? Okay, there's a meeting on 5 p.m. tomorrow that I'm going to attend. No, he's like, just literally text me right now and I'll fix the issue. And that's what he did. What it did was that when the 3K lead came in, It wasn't sitting there for 10 hours. It was just solved right then and there. And then another 3 lead came in. Then this slowly and slowly literally just increased his business. Now he did this with every single part of his business without spending more and more money in. And you really have to be the person who's tracking each process and how much time it's in your business for you getting cash collected. Now, this is one of the things which only few people do. If you are around 50K a month or like 100K a month, I think you should really do it, and you should have people come in, like literally like work with you and work aside you so that they can see and you guys can just, bond better. And it's just literally the ROI is insane. It will give you a 10x ROI. Such a great thing to do. I've seen people who scale the most, they all do it. That's why, and in-person offices were a big thing, but now they're not, but it still really works out. So what can you do? Okay. How can you optimize it more? And rather than adding in more resources, then you already have what you need. But the problem is that you just think I need more people, I need more this, or I need more money, or I need more market, I need more ad spend. No, what you need is to just look at your process and do it. And let me give you an example that will blow your mind away. Now, this is Elon, right? This is Elon. Elon's trying to build rockets. He's trying to build Falcon 9. Now, when they were trying to build Falcon 9, his team came up and said, like, Elon, listen, man, we did all the stuff. We looked into it. It's going to take 10 years. Well, Elon said, okay, well, it's going to take 10 years. Nah, man, it's going to take 6 months, or you guys are getting fired. Like, get out of here. So guess how much time it took them? Their team, after doing all that stuff, they said it's going to take 10 years, and he asked for 6 months. That is crazy, right? Probably took them 3 years, 2 years, a year, 4 years, 5 years, right? Guess how much time it took them? Guess, just take a wild guess. It took them 8 months. 8 months to build an entire rocket out of just literally like a new rocket they built out in 8 months. So if they can build a rocket in eight months and their team is saying 10 years, look what you can do for your business, because most of the employees are inefficient. So they say, oh, it's going to take 3 weeks to edit this 2-hour long vlog. No, it's going to take a day. Try it. You guys are so scared for pushing the limit and like being like, oh, what happens if he leaves? If I ask him, well, if he leaves, hire a new person. That's what my guy did. He had 4 setters. Anybody who didn't perform was all the dream, or like they just didn't do a good enough job, or that was too much. The point is that you really have to look in each and single process and really ask the team and yourself how much time it should take rather than it's taking. Now, there are closing. This is what I did with the closing team. A closing team was taking 90 minutes. 90 minutes to close a call for 3K. That is absurd. And that was an inbound lead, right? It was 45 minutes. Cut down to 45 minutes, took half of the time, started making double the money. Now, if you do that more and more, it's 3K, right? If that person can do double, triple calls, you do that over 30 days, that's 180K right then and there. And most of you guys just don't realize this. You're just like, well, I need more money. I need more people. I need more resources. Oh, maybe we have to change this market. No, you have you have the leads, you have the stuff. You're just doing it fast enough and good enough. And if you have seen any of these guys, Mr. Tate, Mr. Hormozi, or Gary, any of these people, what do they have in common? What are they saying? Speed. Speed is king, because what can take someone 10 years, you can do it in 8 months. And that is what makes the entire difference between a business owner who's literally just working and doing normal work than a guy who gets to 300K. And the reason is because you are just winning and failing faster. Okay, some processes fail. Let me just give you an example of Setter. Setter comes in, can book the lead. Okay, issues happening. He gets stuck here. Rather than him waiting for the meeting and to address that after 35 minutes, well, what he does is sends a screenshot. This is such a basic example. Sends a screenshot, problem gets solved. Then they learn on tomorrow's team how to fix this entire issue and work on it more work here, and they get better at it. And then this doesn't become an issue. You do this over and over again over the span of 30 days inside of your business, you're going to make more money. And that's what my guy did. I tell this to everybody, speed up the process. No one takes the advice. Now, the reason why they don't take the advice is not because they're not doing it. They do it, but they just think that, oh, I've done this part, so it's good. No, you have to do it with every single process. It cannot just be with you closing. It cannot just be you with booking calls. It can be with content. It can be with your entire business, because the more you add speed, the more you can make, because you're using less time while somebody else does. It's just leverage. It's pretty simple. And that's what it took him to scale to almost 330K in 2 months. Now, of course, we already have clients. If you want to join, you can join. But the point I'm trying to make here is that we really focus on your entire business as it is, and just not like adding more resources in, because you already have it. So if you like this video, guys, and I see a lot of you not subscribing and stuff, like I have to ask, like, of course, because I see the rate that a lot of people click in. You guys have been there for such a long time. we have like well, it's almost gonna be almost like around like 6 or like 7 months. I didn't mean that on purpose, but and yeah, I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.